Hey everyone, Miss Dempsey here. This is a guide for round 2 of the Nations Cup 2022-2023 series taking place at Catalunya Rallycross with the Group B cars. Taking a look at the race details, a pretty short 8-lap race with a grid start. Do note that only 10 cars are allowed per split, so this will be smaller than the usual 16 cars that are allowed in a race. DR and SR updates are off for this race, so don't worry about getting an SR reset from what will be a pretty chaotic race. Handbrake is allowed, interestingly, and the fuel and tire multipliers for both the qualifier and the race are off or times 0, so this is a really straightforward 0-stop race. So we'll take a quick look at the lap guide, and what you can do is go towards the back wall before the start finish line. That way you have a bit of a run up to the start of the lap and you'll get a faster start to the new lap. And then you want to brake just as you reach this barrier that is on the left. Go down to third gear to try to whip the car around this turn and get on the throttle as soon as you can. Highly suggest to have traction control off for this race, especially on the dirt parts of the track. Brake just before the jump and then brake as you pass this barrier that is on the right. Trying to go for a late apex and being careful on the throttle to try to not to get too much wheel spin coming out of the hairpin. Brake when you reach the penultimate sign on the right and just trying to get the car to whip around this turn, and then brake before you reach the barrier that is on the right. Trying to get the car straightened up for the final section of the track. Get on the throttle as soon as you can and then brake nice and early for the final turn. It's a really sharp hairpin. Going down to second gear, force the car to rotate, use the handbrake if you need to, and get on the throttle as soon as you can. So we've actually had a race like this before. It was Daily Race A at one point. So I want to show you how this race will very likely go. So first of all, it's a grid start and you're starting at this little runoff section. Not sure what they call it, but I did make a video about my experience here. If you want to check that video out, I'll leave it in the description down below. But anyways, a bunch of cars getting punted off of turn 1 or turn 0, however you want to put it. And then a bunch of cars hit the barriers because that does happen. The ghosting system will be working overtime and you can try to take advantage of it, so it's not exactly easy to try to trigger the ghosting system since it kind of activates randomly on some turns depending on how you take it. But if it does happen to you where you get ghosted, take advantage of it because that can kind of protect you from getting punted off by someone, and I think that does happen to me at one point, which I'll show later in the video. But yeah, people are going to be really aggressive, so you do have to be careful about that. You kind of have to be aggressive yourself because it's really difficult to try to get any sort of passing done here cleanly. So people are going to do whatever they can to try to make their way through. Just like this Kev dude, he's just gonna shove me off the track. And yeah, it's a meme race, but luckily you don't have to worry about getting an SR or DR reset, as those are turned off for this race, and it's a very wise choice for the developers to have those updates turned off, as this race is going to be pretty chaotic. Your main goal for this race is to, first of all, not go off the track like how this guy does, but your main goal is to try to break away from the chaos very early on in the race. So if you're able to break away from the chaos early on in the race and have a decent pace overall, then you have a pretty good shot at winning this race. And if you have a penalty, it's not the worst thing in the world because the penalty serving zone is just before a braking zone. So if we're taking a look at this car in the Audi, he doesn't lose too much time even after he serves a 3.5 second penalty, and the ghosting system protects him right there. And yeah, he only lost one position, but he's still right behind the car in 5th place. And do be careful about making ambitious moves or being at a completely wrong spot, because the car in 7th, yeah, he's just gonna end up hitting the barrier and yeah, that's gonna be a very bad day for him right there. And I do want to show the clip where the ghosting system was working overtime and actually saved me from getting punted. So actually one car ends up hitting the chicane and he's ghosted right now. But then just after this part right here, so right around here, this is where I start getting ghosted. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to stay inside another car, so I'm still ghosted. And then unfortunately someone gets punted off, but because I was ghosted, I was able to avoid getting hit. So if the ghosting system does affect your car, you can't take advantage of it. You can't try to stay inside another car, so you're kind of protected from any sort of collision. But there we go. So not much to talk about for this round, as it's a really straightforward zero stop, and your goal is to try to survive the chaos. And yeah, this race was a 7-lap race. The Nations Cup race that we'll be doing is an 8-lap race, so this race will be around 6 to 7 minutes long. But there we go. Again, not much to talk about, so I'm going to go ahead and end this video. So hopefully this guide helps you out a bit, and good luck with the chaos. And I do want to thank you guys for supporting the channel as well. So this is Mr. MCA wishing you guys a good race, and I'll see you in the next video.